All right, let's dive into something really fascinating today. We're going to explore a text that tries to map out the very structure of reality itself. Yep, we're digging into the incredible cosmic blueprint laid out by the 18th century thinker Emanuel Swedenborg in his work, Angelic Wisdom.
So let's just start with a massive question, one that people have been wrestling with for, well, forever. What is everything really made of? At the most basic level, is it matter, energy? Is it all just information? It's a huge mystery, right at the heart of what it means to exist.
Well, way back in 1763, this incredible thinker, a scientist, a philosopher, a mystic, Emanuel Swedenborg, he published this work. And in it, he gave an answer that was just worlds away from what anyone else was thinking at the time. He proposed a spiritual blueprint for the entire universe.
Okay, so to really get a grip on Swedenborg's vision, we have to start right at the absolute beginning, the source of everything. So let's pull back the curtain and unveil this hidden design that he says connects the divine, the angelic, and us, the human, into one amazing, cohesive system. According to this text, if you could strip everything away, all the complexity of the cosmos, of life, of our own minds, you would be left with a single foundational truth. This is the core principle, the very starting point from which his entire cosmology just unfolds. So, what is this truth? Well, Swedenborg describes it as two interconnected forces that acts almost like a divine source code for reality. And these two forces, they are divine love and divine wisdom. First up, we have divine love. Now, this is not love in the way we usually think of it, as an emotion. For Swedenborg, divine love is the actual substance of everything that exists. It's the fundamental isness of reality. He even uses the Latin term esse, which literally means to be, or that which is. It's the very essence of existence itself. And these two forces, they work in perfect tandem. So if divine love is the substance, the raw potential and the will to create, then divine wisdom is the form that substance takes. It's the how to love's what. Swedenborg calls this existere, or existence. And the text is super clear about this. They are totally inseparable, a distinct one. You just can't have the substance of reality without a form for it to take. Now, this isn't just some big abstract cosmic theory. It has a direct, personal connection to every single one of us. According to the text, our own inner lives are a direct reflection of this divine source. Our affections, our feelings, our desires, they spring from divine love. And our thoughts, our ability to reason and understand things, they spring from divine wisdom. So if love and wisdom are the source code, how does that energy actually get transmitted to create, well, everything? How does this divine power actually manifest and fuel all of creation?
In Swedenborg's model of the cosmos, there isn't just one world, there are two. As it says in section 83 of the text, there's the spiritual world and there's the natural world. They are totally distinct, they operate on different principles, but they are also deeply, intimately connected, running in parallel with each other.
And here's how that power flows. It all starts with what Swedenborg calls the God-man, the divine source. From this source, a spiritual sun proceeds. Now, this is a really crucial distinction. This sun is not God, but it's an emanation, a direct outflow of that divine love and wisdom. This spiritual sun then radiates its energy out. Love is felt as spiritual heat, and wisdom is perceived as spiritual light. And it's this heat and this light that create and sustain everything in both the spiritual and the natural worlds. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting, because where do we fit into this cosmic blueprint? We've talked about the source, we've talked about how the divine energy is transmitted, but what is our specific job in this grand design? This is an absolutely core idea in the text. According to section 4, neither angels nor humans are sources of life in ourselves. We don't just generate our own love or our own wisdom out of thin air. Instead, we are created to be vessels, or recipients, specifically designed to receive this constant, nonstop flow of life from that divine source. For angels, this relationship is one of just perfect, harmonious reception. This quote from section 113 really highlights how intimate that connection is. Angels exist in a state where they are pure recipients of the divine, and because of that, the divine can dwell fully inside of them. And just like the angels, we humans are also recipients. We experience this inflow of divine life as our very own feelings.
and our very own thoughts. So what does that mean? It means the spiritual world isn't some distant place you might go to when you die. It's here. It's now. It's, as the text says, within the interiors of our minds. We are constantly bathing in its energies. We think from its light, which is wisdom, and we love from its heat, which is love.
So all this brings us to our unique challenge and our purpose. If we're constantly receiving all this divine energy, what are we supposed to do with it? What is the actual goal of a human life? This slide lays out the fundamental human dilemma that's described in section 242. Our understanding, our intellect, can be elevated pretty easily. I mean, you can read a book, hear an idea, and bam, you get it. You grasp a profound truth. But our will, our love, that is so much harder to change. According to Swedenborg, our will can only be raised up by consciously choosing to live a good life. So that act of shunning evils as sins, it's not just some old moral rule. It's the very mechanism for our spiritual growth. It's the difference between just perceiving the truth and actually living it.
And that brings us to the ultimate purpose of it all. The goal of human life, inside this cosmic blueprint, is to bring these two parts of ourselves into total harmony. The goal is to achieve a perfect union, a marriage, between what we love and what we understand. It's about using our freedom to align our actions with our knowledge, to unify our will with our intellect, so that we don't just perceive the truth, we actually embody it. So, as we wrap up this look into Swedenborg's pretty incredible vision, let's just leave it with one final thought. Throughout this whole system, love and wisdom are an inseparable pair. One is heat, the other is light. And that leaves us with a question, doesn't it? Can you really have light without any warmth? Or warmth without any illumination? And what does it truly mean to bring them together in our own lives? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.